So past, we have left aside for a moment, just for this, 5 or 10 minutes. Future, leave aside. Present moment, imagining things or something, we just leave everything. Just to be just that you are simply here. It's not that clinically thoughts don't occur anymore, but they are ineffective. It's like they lose their power and their significance. And when something loses its insignificance, it's as good as not existing.
Yes. So, namaste, good morning, good evening to everyone. Uh, Welcome to this new episode of Idanim Inspirations. My name is Raman. I am one of the co founders of Idanim. It's a meditation app that helps people start and deepen their meditation and spiritual journey. I'm very honored to introduce our guest for today's episode, Moojibaba, who has helped countless lives across the globe. He has dedicated his life helping people deepen their spiritual journey and help them in self realization and awakening. I got a very heartwarming message from Moojibaba today in the morning, and he advised me to ask questions coming from my heart. So this episode might be slightly different from others as I'm going to ask questions that really comes from my own practice, my own self-inquiry. So Muji Baba, really thank you for sparing time, for gracing us with your presence. Very, very grateful to have you with us. So let's get started. So Muji Baba, just to share some context, I did my first spiritual retreat in 2009. I was 27 years old at that time, and I uh, felt a different kind of peace, presence, silence uh, after the retreat that I had never felt before. I realized that I've been playing a role of a victim personality for last 20 years, and I could drop that victim personality, and it was kind of a liberation movement. um, I have been feeling a deep peace. There have been many moments when I feel very deep peace, silence, presence, and they come when I sit for a formal meditation practice or very, very randomly without any obvious reason. At the same time, Mujibaba, uh, there are times when I'm taken over by doubt. Um, Whether am I doing it right, is it making sense, am I fooling myself, am I fooling others? And when I feel present, Mujibaba, there is no doubt about this feeling of presence. uh, it is very, very clear. It feels like a God's grace, and there is a clear distinction between the seer and the seen, object and the subject. But when I'm taken over by this doubt, sometimes for some reason or maybe without any reason, uh, then these kind of questions keep popping up. uh, would you please guide me?
Okay, thank you. I mean, uh, I feel the disappointment when the feeling of resistance come, and going with the disappointment does not help, because for everyone, even someone quite adept or someone, doubts can come, thoughts can come, unwanted thoughts will come. I feel that it's very important that each one really understand that it's not that we should get rid of the thoughts, the force of thoughts, but that you will transcend their effects. When you take the thoughts are seemingly virile, but for the persona, for the person, whereas it is not there in presence, it's not there in the state of beingness, but it is, it's a relationship, an old relationship that was formed when the consciousness took the appearance of being a person. When it becomes personal, then the state of personhood is, I would say, an insecure state, actually. So it's that's where all these doubts will come. And because for so many years, some say lifetimes, it has never been challenged, never been, pointed out that there's a reality behind the person, which when discovered, the person, all the energy, all the sense of disturbance, all the uncertainties that plague the state of personhood, they gradually fall away. And that is the goal, actually, that that the veil of personhood is transcended. You see, even on spiritual path, the state of personhood, I would call it also, I can call it ego. It accompanies also in many people, most people, I would say, even in their spiritual journey, the ego gets its place also. It participates in the journey. It has an idea of spirituality. It appears to want to grow and has an idea about enlightenment and seem to be pursuing it. But at the same time, what is not recognized is that there's also some inherent fear in that state, because it's as though the mind or the ego will not truthfully and willingly cooperate with anything that appears to threaten its existence. So that is the paradox in some way, and it is important to understand that yes, doubts will come, and even as we deepen in our understanding, the doubts will still come. But something will feel, but why are these things still coming? And when they come, they may have so much force, come with so much force or so much impact that I'm completely displaced. But those concerns are coming for the person. You see, the person must play a part in the play of awakening. But I would say when we in life come to a place where the search for truth becomes deeply authentic, I would call that state of personhood more the sattvic person, where there is a rising inside. I mean, it's some learning has happened, some wisdom has come to show that to follow the path of ego or simply um, worldly attainments is not satisfying in itself, and some yearning which we don't know where it began. I think it began from before beginning. We came in with some urges inside everyone to search, and gradually, as the search deepens, to gradually home in with intense focus to transcend the the limitations of personhood or the psychological identity. So we must expect that these things will come for a while, but they will gradually lose their force as the beingness is recognized experientially, and then there's a deep pulling towards a falling in love with the joy and the peace, become very valued. And so with that happening, the attraction towards the mind's entertainment and addictions or tendencies will naturally fall away. There was a bit of disappointment, it seemed, as it does for many people, for all of us at some stage. Well, why is this still coming? I know I'm not this now. I know, but why is it still coming? You see, and then there's a feeling of, and then in a sense, by identifying with those states, a sense of failure and all of this come, and then the urge to press on can seem like it takes a little bit of a knock, and we come back, because you have to remember that the call for awakening is not just coming from the person. It's coming from the deeper awareness. It's like the time has come, and the time has come to look more deeply, and we will encounter some resistance in the beginning, but they will gradually drop away.
And I must admit, it has reduced quite a bit. It does come again and again. I feel I've been fortunate to feel that grace, that feeling of silence very early in my practice. And I have drifted, I still do. But I feel it is this grace, this silence that keeps pulling me back, despite my doubts, despite my um, apprehensions. Um, and it's a connected question, Mujibaba. Um, Many people find it difficult, particularly when they start on their meditation or spiritual journey. I feel everybody is always on a spiritual journey, but when they formally start, it's difficult for them to feel this silence. Their mind, their attention is too occupied with thoughts and emotions, and they uh, tend to overlook this silence, or they expect something miraculous experience, or they just don't acknowledge. So how can people um, feel this silence and establish in it? Could you share some guidance? How can people start feeling this silence? So this
Yeah.
is particularly in the context of people who start out on their meditation journey, or their
Yes.
search of self discovery.
The silence is coming in for many people more as they mature more. Many people, when they are looking for something, it's already it's a universal call. They may not be aware of that. So it's not that it begins with the person. It begins as somehow there's a pull already. There is an existential pull towards that, but it has not reached the kind of the personal consciousness. They just feel a pull to go and explore. They may even feel that I'm not really interested, but I'll just come along for something. We can't really explain the miracle of that. But people come and something in them is drawn towards that opportunity. Even if they have some resistance, something is compelling the soul to go to this place. They may not even be so conscious of it. But when they go, you must remember it's not that it's another human being who is going to entice them to come. It's like they will come with whatever mm, whatever is playing in their being. Whether it's some resistance is there, but some attraction is there. There's always this interplay between the light and the dark in us. But if we have come, and some people, of course, that come along and they have a lot of concepts, and we don't know how that may go. They may just find that the resistance is too strong, especially in a spiritually charged environment. It stirs up the ego, you see. But even in spite of that, if their destiny is to be drawn to that, the ego will not win. They will find that somehow they may feel total irritation in being in a satsang. They may feel total restlessness, and yet at the same time, something compels them to come back. They may have this oscillation, like, that was so horrible. I felt so restless. I couldn't hear what the speaker was saying. I could not focus. I was finding my mind was just criticizing a lot of the people I see. I was in such a heightened state of distractedness. I just needed to go. And then in the break, I leave. And even now, as I'm speaking, I'm just recalling just a recent visitor who came here and who was sharing that the first time in satsang, that was his experience. They had listened to some of the talks that was online. And then he felt, I was coming to his country. I want to go and see. But when he came, his experience was not good. It was full of distractedness and edginess and finding fault with people, and couldn't quite understand the translations, and all of this kind of stuff was going on. And then he said, well, there were three, as in one example, he said that I was to be 3 days in his country, in his city. He said, I'll sign up for two. Two will be enough. He came the first one. He said during the break he didn't want to come back. Then he went also to the park, and he went to the park for a walk, and his mind just fell empty, and he could not explain what happened. The mind became just empty without any sadhana, any conscious effort. In fact, you would not expect that anything like that would have happened. You see? And so he said, okay, 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 I go back. And he went back, and 2 days he went. The last day, the second day, the second of the third day, he had felt, okay, I think I've had enough. It's been very, very good. It's been a great experience, but I'll just follow a bit more online. Maybe this is not for me. Then as he was going, leaving, again, full power came for him. He said, no, 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 I've got to try and do to this, the third one to see if I can get in. And that began a very powerful journey for him that brought him from his country. His country is in war at the moment. And still he left to come here, to come for, I think, 5 days or so to come here because he's so pulled by that. Now, not everyone will have that kind of story. For some people, it's much more gentle. They have time. And you see, every story will be different. Every path will be different, even for the same person. So just take in heart that there must be something already, some unconscious movement is already present for many people to come. They may come and you may not see them again, but they show up another time. So we shouldn't spend too much time, trying to encourage, because sometimes we can over encourage, and it puts people off. They say, "Oh, you're trying to capture me," and all this stuff. So you must only have faith in where you are, and that you are actually not just having faith, but you're feeling the fruit of the faith, and knowing that a higher power oversees all things, and then something relaxes and stop taking so much responsibility for others. You're moving from heart consciousness, and so that as itself a pull. We don't have to make extra effort. It has its own, a diamond, is not trying to shine more brightly when a rich client come. It's the nature of it to be um, as it is. The one who is destined to purchase it, even if he came intended to buy chewing gum, is going to say, "What is this?" Something makes us do it.
That's beautiful. And that's difficult too, Moojibaba. When we started Idanim, I always felt uh, I'm doing it to deepen my own practice. And I should not be too attached to the results. To be honest, I don't think um, I'm not attached. I do get attached, um, whether it is making sense or having any impact.
It is okay to be attached to your practice. It shows you value it. If at some later stage it's time for it to drop the attachment, it will happen naturally. It's okay. You value what you're doing. The consciousness is working in your path in that way. You value it, but you're not obsessed about it. But you are serious about it. So that's a value, and you may call it attachment. Somebody else may call it just discipline. May call it love for. May call it attraction. Somebody may not like the word, attachment. I say it's all okay. It's okay. It's good. I mean, you have value for it.
Sure, sure. So one question that is coming in my mind, Mujibaba, I have romanticized the idea of an eternally blissful state for a very long time. I used to feel that's the idea I have, mental understanding I have of enlightenment. And some time back, I was attending one retreat by another teacher who I have very deep reverence. Um, he pointed out that many of us start using meditation as a means to an end, for something to achieve in future, and that immediately hit me. Um, and when I dropped that pursuit, I felt I have a deeper sense of presence and stillness. That's very, very evident. Yet at the same time, I have become less serious about my life, and that also includes my meditation practice. You would know there are many teachers who ask you to be more disciplined, focused. discipline doesn't occur to me very naturally. I am not really a very disciplined person. I would say I'm serious about my practice, about my seeking, yet I'm not very disciplined. So I am enjoying it, but I'm not sure if this is how it is supposed to be and this is how it should be.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Discipline as a teacher may say, we need. I myself say sometimes, we need to be a bit more disciplined. Myself, I'm not that disciplined. You see?
Good to know that.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm not so structured. I'm much more free, much more spontaneous. There's a path for everyone, but there's a certain time when some discipline is required. But rigid discipline, discipline set by some external um, force, may not suit you. But as you begin to feel the result and you're drawn to it because you feel the result, the fruit of it, a natural discipline will will come because you want. We have everyone has discipline. You have discipline to do the things you want to do and to get better at it. You see, it takes a certain discipline, but it may not conform to the idea of discipline that someone else may set, but it may work well for you. One time I made one talk. It was called "The Lazy Man's Way to Enlightenment," and it had a lot of views because many people feel, yes, I am a bit lazy. I don't know. We cannot be so lazy. I mean, that you say, someone else has to do it for me. No, you cannot. And some people do have a feeling. They come and they say, no, no, you do it for me. I'm too weak. I'm trying to do it for me. There's a time when we are feeling desperate and very weak and um, very mm, lacking in courage or discipline or something. There's a time, a divine moment, when supernatural intervention come and raise you up. But it is a very wise force. It will not just feed the ego that says, "Yeah, I want to be free," but deep down, we do nothing to 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 really attract that or to fulfill that. So that would not work. But if you say yes, there's some resistance because you have to remember also that towards the things of the world, often the mind has a lot of energy, a lot of shakti for the things of the world. But when for the things of the spirit and of the heart, you can stand to feel resistance and all kind of heaviness comes. And I am starting to say to people more and more, don't be put off by that. That actually could be a good sign because it's as though we have cooperated with certain modes of our own personal tendencies, and it makes us a bit lazy towards the things that really should matter, the things that you are going to find so much more meaningful and much more potently elevating in the life. You may have to put a little bit more effort. Some things come very easy, and you can get too much attached to the things come easy and give value to those. But so much value come when even in the beginning, because Paramatman, God knows your level at the present moment. You see, when if you get to more in that connection with the divine in that way, it will guide you more than any human source can guide. The important factor is that there's some genuineness. You can say, you can speak, if you have that kind of relationship or feeling, attitude towards God, you can say, I find I'm so lazy, I'm attracted, I want to discover more of God, and I know this is the right path, but every time I think of you, and that I'm so much, there's so much guilt that I'm not doing enough and I should do this, and please help me to grow beyond this limitation and these fears, and help will come. It always responds to a genuine call. It doesn't matter. It does not judge. It does not judge. It does not dismiss. It's not a person in that way. And we have, each one can have a divine relationship, even a romance with it. You see, there is no one who, because of their temperament, is more, um, or because of what they say, even is more near to the reality. The self is fundamental to our reality. It is our impersonal essence. It is never apart from us. It is the core of our existence. And whether you regard it as God, some people are not comfortable in our modern world with the word God because they have so much kind of religious connotations and they're so afraid. So I say the supreme consciousness, universal consciousness, because there's no history about universal consciousness. So people can be more okay, I'm more appealed by that because that's more neutral. It's still the same, whichever works for you. And as we grow, we'll come much more deeply into a direct understanding and a direct experience of the reality of that inside. So if we are feeling tired and feeling those kind of resistance, I say is you're onto a good thing. It means that you're onto something. And when these forces are uncomfortable forces, they come from the mind. They don't come from your heart. They come from the mind, and some people regard the mind as a kind of like a second person, like a very conscious entity that lives in the head and is like this, or they just regard it as something very dark, whichever way, or they call it themselves. But for real success in spirituality, you must transcend the mm, the limitations of ego and its world.
How do we do that, Moojibaba?
And it's not even that you do it; something gets undone. Grace is a powerful factor in this. You see, it is grace that emerges within you as a yearning for this. That is already grace. You see, at some point, the timing of one's life is redirecting the attention towards something. You may not be conscious of it, but little by little bit, you're pulled in this direction. As in your case, you're drawn to something, and you experience very clearly states of purity and of peace and stillness and joy. Then the mind comes. Well, you're not unique in this. For everyone, the mind will come even more strongly than before. It's as though if you could give a character to the mind, it might, the character is feeling that, well, I'm losing him. We have to turn up the juice, make something more attractive. We can see it in that kind of pictorial way, but it actually happens for everyone. The mind becomes more strong, irritations come, all the things that the person is likely to think these are not supporting factors. This is not good, or this is a measure of themselves. It's not a measure of you. It is only some kind of resistance that you will overcome on the way. You ask how it will be done. I cannot give you a specific technique. I can tell you that we have also presented. I don't know if you've heard of the invitation to freedom. Has been an exercise that really made a significant shift in the maturity of the sangha that lives around me. Palpable shift, but just been following and allowing the space to look. And I would very, very much recommend, because this is something that is not strenuous. It is not strenuous. People are afraid of strenuous practice, you see, because it's like it's overwhelming. I'm never going to, there's too many things to remember. I've done so much reading, there's so much study. And initially, the study must come, a little bit must come, that you understand the nature of what you're searching for, at least theoretically. And then must come some practice. Then the practice must yield fruit. When the fruit is coming, then you don't need external encouragement. It's that the encouragement is arising from within, like that. So you ask how to be done. I can just say there are many ways that people point. I point to this one of those ways we gave here is the invitation to freedom. Very accessible and not torturous for them. Oh, let's try. No, it's like listening and relating to that internally. And we find it and maybe at some point during this time, we can do it for your listeners. So to see the simplicity and accessibility, because you must remember the self is not buried like some deeply buried treasure. It's right here. It's right here. And yet it's missed because the attention goes to feed the habitual identity. And that can change, and it will change sometimes very quickly and very powerfully. So for me, this is good news and encouraging for anybody who has a sincere interest and pull to say, yes, I would like to find out if there is something that is saying that my life will be much more at peace. That is not that I don't have to curse the world. I don't have to fight. But if there's a fight, it's going to be a little bit internal, that somehow you're going to feel the resistance. And the fight, with my terminology, simply mean to be able to feel that and not run away, to see that this is a sign that the enzymes of transformation are functioning. Don't take them personally. That's the mistake, because we start to use these to say that because I'm feeling so bad, I'm supposed to be feeling good. I'm feeling bad. This means that I'm slipping, and these are wrong interpretation of what is happening, misunderstanding of what's happening. If actually we grow with challenges and disappointments and so on, when met in the correct attitude, they become growth hormones in the spirit. If you feel them and you say, okay, this is like that, it is not an assessment of my evolution. It's not an it's not an it's not an assessment of how well I'm doing. If you don't say that, because if you use if you interpret strong waves that comes from the mind, emotional waves, cathartic reactions, as meaning these mean that you're not doing well, then you work against yourself. It means that you're doing well enough to stir up dormant and stagnant energies which are coming to the surface. Just like if there's an earthquake in the ocean, from the bottom, a lot of bubbles will come to the surface. They don't go down, they come when they hit the surface, they pop and they disappear. So we must change the way we look at things, because very often we are defeated by our own misunderstandings. When you feel the turbulence of emotion and all these things come, take the position of learning to witness these things with detachment. So currently, when I shared with you, for instance, in one earlier exercise, which still is used here and all over the world, the invitation to freedom, and the result is so powerful because it's not something that you believe, it is experienced, you see. And now we have another exercise, more direct, even more simple, you see. So these things are practical, they are direct. They may feel a challenge because sometimes we want to use the mind to try and understand things when it's time just to sit and look, you see. And so these exercises which were offered and are being offered here are an invitation to sit and look, and every kind of nonsense is going to come. It will come in the beginning, and even to direct the attention to sit in the way that I have been pointing brings a lot of resistance. But that resistance is good that we see it and experience it, to see that actually we have been living in a state of captivity, but unconsciously. That when you make a conscious decision to sit and simply observe without logging into the mind's energy flow, to do that, you feel so much like it's impossible, because a reflex is just to go back into identity with it. But I want to encourage that transformation is very swift and very profound in each case, you see. And it's not because someone told you so, it's because it will become your direct and reliable experience, you see.
Sure, thank you. So, Mujibaba, I was saying I can deeply connect to what you said. For a very long time, I wanted to reach a state of thoughtlessness, and I would judge my practice if I used to experience any negative thoughts, emotions, and forget about negative, even any thoughts. So there was, as I mentioned it, I used to romanticize about this idea of thoughtlessness. And it just occurred to me some time back, it is not really about becoming thoughtless. It is more about being non-reactive, non-judgmental towards my own thoughts and emotions, and taking an action from a deeper space, deeper stillness. Um, Having said that, I still have this question, and this is something that many of our users um, find difficult. They abandon their practice when they um sit for meditation and they experience their thoughts even more. And they expect with the they sit with an expectation that they would become thoughtless, but I tell them it's very natural to, because they probably would have seen their thoughts for the first time. But many people tend to abandon their practice. So when I stopped shooing away my thoughts, two things happened, Mujibaba. Um, the frequency of my getting triggered reduced, and even if I used to get triggered, I still do. um, I feel I do come out of it more quickly. Uh, so but this question still remains, if there is ever a state when you become thoughtless, though it does not really matter. It's more of a theoretical question, intellectual question that keeps, uh, I wouldn't say bothering me, but it is there in my mind, and it also comes from a lot of other users.
Yes, it's a good question. It's a good question. It's not that clinically thoughts don't occur anymore, but they are ineffective. It's like they lose their power and their significance. And when something loses its insignificance, it's as good as not existing. Understand? Because you have to remember that even after the state of realization, your bodily life may continue. You may have a family, you may have business, and things like this may be still running. And so the necessary functions will prevail. They will continue to be, it's not like you no mind, you're not able to. In some rare cases, depending upon the karmic or destiny of some expressions, they may be like that. They may go into some nirvikalpa, samadhi state or something. But for most people, as you grow into it. You mature into, uh, you know, into your capacity deepens and deepens. You see. So yes, you mentioned it as a fantasy that you come to a state maybe where there's absolutely no thought. But that would be to think that thought is the problem. The thought is not the problem. Actually, the investment in the thinker of thought is a problem, which itself is a thought. I don't know if your listeners are able to follow me to this point, but I will come back to that. And so it's not that thoughts in themselves, because all kinds of thoughts may visit your space, and they are untraceable, and they're like writing on water. They leave nothing at all. It is the thoughts that have some value and significance for your personal identity that hang around, and they will keep coming back for food, and the food of them is continued personal identity with them. You see, so it becomes almost a little bit of an addiction, but it's not recognized as an addiction. You see, and so it feels like it's quite normal. So it's only when you are invited into a state of contemplation or self inquiry or meditation, which doesn't go along with the mind's habits, then you begin to feel the resistances that comes up in the mind. And then you see, if you're not encouraged and prepared in the right way, then the person who is still meditating, albeit maybe a sattvic person, may just feel, no, it's not for me. It's too much. There's too much noise coming up. So they would need to be told, this is fine. Don't worry about this. This is a good sign that the energies are moving, because you don't know how much stuck energy there may be in you, how many stale concepts you're carrying that are not in service to an awakened life. So these meditative practices or self-inquiry shifts them. It starts to issue, and a sense of disturbance may come. So the participant or the practitioner, the student, has to be prepared for that and say, listen, don't run. You see, this is now, and you mentioned it also, that learn to observe with detachment. Don't say it should not be. That's a very dangerous position to take up. Like, these things should not be. Then you set up conflict in yourself. No, let them come. Let anything come, and learn to witness with detachment. You see? Now, in the beginning, that may seem impossible, but gradually and very quickly, that changes. You start to feel, whoa, some space opens up, and it's as though some distance is felt between the active mind and a sense of that it's being watched from a place of stillness. You see? And so some, like, a gap opens up, and at a certain point, you may start to feel like the mind is, I'm outside of the mind, or the mind is outside of me. That direct, stickiness is something breaks it, and immediately a natural joy ensue, a spaciousness, something that is so natural for you that it doesn't take time to adjust to it. It's so naturally attractive for you. Now, that may happen, but then sometimes it's again followed by another bout of restlessness, and the person aspect of consciousness is still not annihilated. It will come back and say, oh, it's not getting anywhere, why did I lose it, and why? But it's not the person who had it. It was a break from the person, but it's taken the form as though the person failed at something. The person is a myth. Actually, you will find out your real self is always present, but somehow eclipsed by the moving identity and its world. So the reality of awakening is that we will transcend the limitations of the personal identity, the psychological identity. But when we think through the same psychological identity, we say, but how is it possible? I cannot even change a little thing. How can I change it? You are not changing it, but it is being changed. So the here complex concepts will not serve you. It has to be something that is accessible, that is followable, and that you feel results. Otherwise, the person is too weak to persevere and get easily discouraged. So the higher power is with you and helps you, but the most important thing is to be encouraged to persist and persist. And by we find it. Anyone that you know, including yourself, whatever you became good at in your life was only because you persisted. You endured. You had setbacks, you had moments of disappointments, but you did not give up, because the urge, the desire was there, and the desire overcame the resistance. And then you become good. Same thing with your spiritual realization. We have been living in a state of bad habit, but unrecognized. We have been developing in the realm of personhood, which is also a mode of consciousness, but it's so limited. And as you begin to drop onto the surface of that, or go beyond this, all resistances will come. It's this is not a 21st century phenomenon. This is as ancient as mankind. And many have done who have endured and given a bit of time. And I'm not saying that you have to give up your household work or your householder position, give up your job, go and live in a cave, go into the mountains. No, because it would mean that the reality is more in the mountains than in here. It is right here in you. And so it must be given the space, you see, to sit with it and to be encouraged. So encouragement is very important in the early stages. Supportive encouragement and not too much instructions, but instructions that are practical, applicable, and the results are not long in waiting. These are very important in our times because people don't have the level of patience. They don't have, our culture is very restless. People want things immediately. We feel like we can purchase things or so for these times, it's like somehow the consciousness is still 100% here. But it's as though somehow in its own great wisdom, it is adapted to the age that, of course, there will be practices that people have done faithfully for years and years and years. But also, it doesn't mean it outshines the practice that comes freshly and connects with the consciousness, with the person. And they can, it's not that we have to sit in strenuous practices, arduous tasks and so on. And I'm not weakening the invitation. I'm not trivializing it. The importance is not just practice. Practice, the goal of practice is also to transcend practice, to come to the end of practice, to return to the natural. You cannot create the natural. You can only discover the natural. And so those who have awakened and know this as a fact, they tell you, don't try to work so much to improve your person, but more to see the unreality of the ego mind and its constructs. And that's much more direct, that's much more simple, that's much more straightforward, but is not necessarily attractive for many people because we want to awaken as the ego. So gradual realization is making its way into the consciousness. We're waking up, and so in a way, it's as though that we are being enticed with the joy and with the sense of peace. They are encouraging signs. These are the perfume of the truth. You're feeling more peaceful, more calm, more focused, more wise. It's coming, but persevere, because sometimes we get to a place and we create some inner space and then somehow we fill it up with nonsense again. So this is what I mean, that it has to be, we should persevere, persist. These are not bad words. They are high words, attainable words, you see, because it's not new to us. We are persevering. Human beings persevere quite a lot. We put up with quite a lot. So to ask for something like this is not because it is difficult, but because there is a force working within us that is not somehow supporting your awakening.
Yes. And just to share, I feel my ego has a pattern. It's very cyclical in nature. There are days, there are phases when I feel deeply peaceful without any reason, deeply present. Um, I feel I'm more wise. I'm listening to people uh, without judgment, with full attention. And then something would happen. I would get triggered, maybe by some external circumstances or maybe mind-made challenge, and that's when I would get triggered. My common triggers are uh, any situation that triggers my feeling of not being good enough, not being intelligent enough, not being successful enough, and then I would feel very heavy, lethargic, slow, judgmental. I would doubt my practice. I would doubt
Ramanji,
everything.
may I say something? Because in listening to you and the way you speak, and you would say my ego and my, there's a link and a connectedness, maybe an attachment not recognized enough, that you, like a reflex, you refer to yourself very often from the place of personhood. And so the ego and personhood are very linked, you see. And because it's not deeply questioned, it persists, you see. So no doubt your life is under grace. If you're experiencing, spaces of peace and joy and well-beingness, all of these are, as I said, the perfume of the natural state, you see. But then something triggers, and then the person comes, and the person steals all that. You see, it's as though it just say, okay, you're not going to have any of that. And yet you're going to see that the person, as soon as you begin um, to recognize from the not person perspective, it's as though it just like it doesn't exist. And all that comes with it, its world, its psychological world, its intensity, its frustrations, they're just like with someone else's talk. It can happen like this. But as long as it goes unquestioned, and you can continue to live in the name of and the mode of a seeker, but the deep question about personal identity has not been challenged. You see, for me, all the troubles and the one who is troubled by them are like two sides of one coin. It has to come to the place where not only the things that trouble your mind is seen, but the one itself who is inclined to feel troubled and frustrated is also a phenomenon. It's a phenomenal identity. It is not the deeper consciousness. So something plays there, which is this kind of movement of, sometimes being more in the place of presence and beingness, and then slowly the mind comes in and says no, and like this, and disrupts the world, and so on. And that can go on if it's left unquestioned. I would like it at some point. I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot we are getting out of talking together. I'm very happy for that. But perhaps I would like, perhaps one time you could come and spend a couple of weeks here. We don't have to say about that. I just feel to say that
No,
so that you're in this kind of environment where this is lived, and it is questioned and looked at, and to great joy, because we can feel like the 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 threat from the mind is that, if you go with that, you're going to lose your joy, the apparent joy, or the entertainment of the mind, and the richness of the potential of discovery and all of that. But it's not that great, actually, compared with your natural state. In fact, there's nothing to compare.
I get you, but I don't get you.
Okay, let's stay with it then. Let's stay with it then. Tell me what you mean. You get me, but you don't get me. Tell me.
I don't find a way or could not understand how to question. Um, I whenever I get triggered, Mujibaba, I know it very clearly. I
Yes.
can see it, arising in my body. Something, some energy arise. Me getting triggered, my mind getting challenged, my
All
self
these,
identity.
as you report now, all these are what you perceive, isn't it? The experience of them, not just the thought of them. You something is observing the effects of those energies coming in. That's watchable.
Yes,
The emotions, the frustrations, watchable.
yes,
The sense of personal frustration, watchable.
Yes.
Yes, what you shared, that you have been touched by the teachings of Sri Ramana Maharishi. He himself told you that whatever you see, whatever you perceive, cannot be the perceiver of them,
Yes.
because any number of things are coming. They appear, and they are almost as though they're auditioning for your attention. Some don't, because they so readily come in, but some they come and you accept or reject. But in any case, they move along. Everything. If I can say, like, our being is like this limitless sky, and the thoughts are like clouds or the effects in the sky coming. Okay, you can see that they are perceived. All these things come. Some clouds may appear to be present for a long time, but there's still traffic. They're going to move. Okay, but does the sky move? Does the space move?
No.
So that space is the awareness that really is. That is the fact. That is the unchanging in you. Body move, organs move, life force move, thought move, mind move, identity move, time move. Past, present, and future are clouds moving and are perceived from a place of unmovingness. This
Yes.
is within the capacity of every human being, but not necessarily that it's appealing at first or that they have not come across this yet. That witnessing place, is that personal or impersonal?
Sometimes I feel it's impersonal, and sometimes I feel it's personal when I
Yeah.
am not able to distinguish
Yes.
between sky and the cloud. But there are times when I could see the sky very clearly and clouds very clearly.
Yes. This, for me, is the most natural thing. That to recognize thought, that doesn't mean that they have no impact. They have their world. They function in the world of phenomenality. Thoughts come, sensations come. I have relatives and friends, and I interact in the most natural way. Things come, moods can come, irritations, all these things can come. And now I don't try to fight them. They can come and go, but they don't impact upon this, which is the space of pure awareness that causes them to manifest, causes even the sense of a person who is interacting with them to manifest, but itself is never confused about it. But when we have strong, the identity is there, and we have a very strong history with about our identity, patterns that are believed in, then it's as though the person, which is a thought construct, I'm going to say this word, it's a thought construct, takes on and seemingly replaces the power of the true self. It acts as though it's my feelings, my thoughts. I do, I don't, I want, I think, I know, I hate, I like. You, me, this, that. Everything is like an object of its attention, including God, my relationship with God. And it's never been questioned. So those, even you say Ramana Maharishi, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, any of the great sages, this is the core of their pointing. All that you perceive through the mind and the senses are transient phenomena.
Yes.
Okay? Now, this cannot be merely spiritual learning or teaching. It has to be verified in experience. And
Yes.
that's how we transcend the influence of the psychological self and mind. Then stability is there. Then it won't matter whether thoughts are there or not. It's not that that thoughts are doing something to you. It's because there is so much respect for and belief in them that they have that impact. They have their place. Thoughts have their place. All religion, all scriptures are constructed in thought also. You see? So they have their place. To say that thought should not come Is like feeling, is like saying, like, I would like to be alive without breathing. The thoughts can be there, but the impact on one person may not have the same impact for someone else. As you mature, you'll see that thought activity loses their 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 power to influence. You see, the reality of anything is not in the thing, but is in the reality or meaning of anything is not in the thing, but it's in the mind of the one perceiving it. As you take something to be, then it manifests as that reality for you.
Yes.
You see? And so what I don't know how many more questions you would like to explore with me, but at some point I would like to just to sit and do just a subtle, soft, guided meditation. Guided, I don't want to call it meditation. I was going to say a guided journey into seeing. You
Let's
see?
do that right away, Moojibaba.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. What I have been sharing so far by words and having this wonderful privilege of being with you in this time, um, and then if it is left at the level of words and concepts, then some people may say that was interesting, that was nice, and so on. But I'm going to invite yourself primarily and those who may want to follow and see what is the discovery into just a simple exercise with me. We're going to call it, I'll tell you, it's just an invitation. I call it Invitation of Freedom. So let's start from this, like say, you have come and clearly you're someone who has a strong um, pull, desire to go beyond the limitations of the tendencies and mind and personhood. And if someone were to come like this and say, please, Muji, I hear you have helped people in this way. Can you help me to go beyond the kind of usual self mode of personhood and so on? I want to go beyond this. I want to find what you point to is that place beyond the interrelated opposites that dances in my mind. I said, okay, very good. Then I said, okay, come with me. I will ask some very few simple things first, that if I could ask you to, just for the short time we're going to have to be together, I'm sure you can afford that short time. Can we say of all things concerning past, what you remember, I've meditated for the last 5-10 years, I went to this place, I discovered this is how I lived, I grew up. Can we say just for the next few moments while we are here together like this, we just don't mention past for a moment. Just leave it because it's not helpful for what we're looking at. We can do this?
Yes.
I will from time to time at some point be asking some questions. You only need to say yes or no. I'm not going to ask you to think. I'm just going to say, this should be simple enough to say yes or no or whatever, or don't know. But for now, I just say, let's leave um, concerns about the past for a moment. And I think you said, yes, we're good on that. On the other side, I say, about future also. Like, yes, Babaji, I would love to be able to do this and achieve that and become like this. And I want to have a mind without thoughts. And can we just say also about, or I would like to see the world looking like this. I want to be this kind of person. Can we say any such thoughts about future that we can also leave for a moment?
Yes.
And whatever you leave at the end of the exercise, you can go back and pick them up again. But just for the exercise, maybe if you can just say, okay, things to do with past, okay, we won't go into past for a moment. Just so we can reach somewhere, a place of present moment awareness. And things to do with the future, aspirations or, very wonderful ideas about the future. No, we don't talk about future. Don't talk about past. So very much present. And so in this space of present, we don't bring in anything about this is how I'm feeling at the moment and da 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 da. Is that possible?
Yes.
Just to say that, yes, I'm aware of those things, but we weren't going to talk about it for a moment.
Yes.
So if I mention past and you say we can leave the past for a moment, you're still here, isn't it?
Yes.
See, this side, future, leave that aside for a moment. You're still here, no? You're still
Yes.
fully here, no? And the present, we're not going to fill it up with any ideas for a moment. Just for the short time, we're going to look at something.
Sure.
Okay, so good. So past, we have left aside for a moment, just for this, 5 or 10 minutes. Future, leave aside. Present moment, imagining things or something, we just leave everything. Just to be just that you're simply here. You're simply here. No luggage, no memory, no projections for a moment. Just you're here. You have lost nothing of yourself. Leave this. If all these things are left aside and you're not holding on to any concept about who you are or who you want to be, none of these, just leave it aside. We can go back to that later. Just for now, in our time together, you don't mention past, future, or any thoughts presently, what you're thinking presently. So be empty of that also. So, in another way, I could put it that just imagine that there was a space opened in you where all the things that you remember and you believe and hope for and all your concepts, everything was just sort of like just slowly drifted out. And so nothing is left. Nothing, absolutely nothing is left. All the thoughts, all ideas, all learning, all projections, all hopes, aspirations, just suspended for a while, just taken off for a while. Everything is taken out. You would still be here, isn't it?
Yes.
There's an awareness that, okay, no past, no future, no present concerns, excuse me, and everything is taken out. Now, that which remain, there is something that cannot be taken out. Everything that can be perceived through the mind and the senses and time are taken out. But there will be something, and of something nothing, that is here that cannot be taken out, cannot be held and moved from one place to another place. Yes or not?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I only want to be about this space. Whatever this is that doesn't belong to past or future or thought or desire or habit. That space. May I ask, does it have a shape at all?
No.
No. Any color?
No.
No. There's no need to imagine anything at all. This space, how big is it? Is it so that there's a boundary beyond which it is not?
No.
No, no boundary. Is it a thought?
No.
No. Could we say that it's a feeling?
No.
No, it's not a feeling. Can that, whatever it is, sometimes I call it the isness, can it be sick or depressed? whatever it is, is it something that can fade, like it fades away, so that maybe in an hour or so it's just gone? Can it be gone? Is it something that can come and go?
No.
No, very good. May I ask, does it has a beginning point, a starting place,
No.
or an end place?
No.
Was it born?
Don't know.
Hmm. Okay, can it die or end?
No.
No. Can it be owned by a group of people and kept in hiding from another group of people?
No.
No. Is there any preferences in it?
No.
No. Can the mind exist outside of it? Can
No.
there be anything outside of it?
No.
No. Is it a state of hypnosis?
No.
Is there any religion in it?
No.
Any judgment?
No.
No. Is there any fear?
No.
Is there any term like inside or outside for it?
No.
No. Is there anything like failure or success for it?
No.
If I ask, where where is it in relation to you? Would you have to make, is there some gap that you would have to cross to get to it?
No.
No. So I'd just like to recap a little bit of what we share. I ask you, does it have a shape? You say it has no shape. I ask you if it can be sick or depressed. You say no, cannot be. Say, was it born or can it die? You say no, it cannot die. I ask you if it has any limitation, like a boundary beyond which it is not. You say no. I ask you if it was created. If I don't ask, I ask no, is it created and can it be destroyed? Is it a product of imagination? I ask you If the mind can exist outside of it, you say no. I ask if is it something that does it any judgments in it? You said no. Say, is it a religion? Any religion? No. And I ask you, is there some gap to cover in order to reach it? You say no. Is it a thought? I'm asking, is it a thought?
No.
No. Now, having listened to you ask these questions and hear your responses, which came very, very spontaneously, not through some deep thinking, just it's like very clear for you. I can only deduce that what you are responding from and what this is all about is yourself.
Yes.
That is the self. Is there any separation?
No.
Can it be lost?
No.
No. Is it something that can belong to someone or owned?
No.
So this, my dear Ramanji, is yourself. Is it personal? Is it personal?
Can't make out.
Okay. How are you?
I'm feeling space all over.
You're feeling
Space
peace, peace.
and stillness.
Yes. Is there any boundary to this peace?
No.
No. Can it end?
No.
What you are sharing is the responses that come from the self. And that's it. If you open your eyes, will it disappear?
No.
Then you can do. So, as I promised from the beginning, before we started, that we would leave aside the concerns and the thoughts of the past and future and present, and that at the end of the exercise, you can go and pick them up again. That is your freedom.
Not wanting to pick them again. This was beautiful. Really, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Very good. I asked also, can it be lost? You said no. But the mind will come and attention will go. And all of these are effects, clouds inside the immensity that you have shared from. Can it pass? No. So when we have our exercise at the moment, we also say to people, now keep the attention, try and keep your attention just on this sense of the natural sense of is or beingness. When the mind come, let the mind come, be aware of it, but keep your attention in beingness. And this will secure. And gradually, because the mind also wants to come here, it originated here, but unchecked it went, and all this creation come, including a personal self and everything. So you abiding in this, not just as an effect, is not just an experience is coming, I am experiencing. No, it is yourself. And just being yourself. Even mind comes strong, doubts come. Can doubts remove this? No, it cannot. Though it might appear to, but it does not remove. And this is the exercise I just wanted to have the chance to share with you. And I see you are a perfect candidate for it.
Really, thank you.
Thank you, and I bless all your followers and listeners that they may participate in this simple, simple contemplation and find what you have found.
I am blessed to have uh, found this opportunity to sit with you, do this exercise, uh, sit in beingness.
Yes.
Really, really thank you, Moojibaba, from the bottom of our heart.
Thank you.
And we are truly, truly blessed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Really, thank you for your time.
Yes.
Can't thank you enough. Feeling blessed, feeling
Yes.
graced.
And thank you. Thank you.